Okay, everyone, for reals this time, welcome to Equine Episode Examination, where today we will be talking about this past weekend's new MLP episode, The Fault in Our Cutie Marks. Thanks for hanging with us there, having some wonderful new software update issues, which are always fun to have. But we're good to go now, so let's go ahead and begin. If this is your first time watching us here on Equine Episode Examination, pretty much what we're going to do is just go through this past weekend's new MLP episode, give our initial opinions on it, our initial thoughts on it. We'll kind of start with more of a broad discussion on the episode, and then dive into more specifics as we go throughout the show today. So if you're watching this as a recording on YouTube, we do this every Tuesday live at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesday. So if you want to join us for our discussions here and actually join in the chat, please stop on by during that at CinemaQuestria.com. We so pretty much like I said, we're just going to discuss the episode. We have some people on the call here, and of course everyone in chat is encouraged to participate and bring up topics for discussion. I'm Rain Shadow, and I'm joined by a few people here today. Now that they can actually hear me, they can introduce themselves.
Mr. Ben, how's it going, everyone?
Okay, I think I'll introduce me then. Hi, I'm me.
Hey, you.
Hey, me.
Hey, it's me.
Are you me or are you mini-me?
Well, I'm kind of short, so I suppose I could pass, I suppose, for mini me.
Fair enough.
And I'm Jay Smith, and welcome, folks, to EEE. We're about to talk about Gabby and CMC.
Here we go. Oops. Oh gosh, there we go.
I thought it was called Twilight and the Wild Goose Chase.
No, it was Matt. That was a chicken in the episode.
What happened? What happened for the boo? What happened to Twilight though? That's my question. So she was to have this massive research project, and she's gonna have to be told it's all for nothing.
Let's just say the CMC will never be seen again.
This is why we'll probably never see Gabby in another episode.
Twilight, what's this awesome dinner you made?
Oh, gee.
It's
I like these wings. Anyway, so what are everyone's...
Tastes just like Scootaloo.
Pinky Helter fix them.
So, what are everyone's initial thoughts on the episode?
Gabby is ridiculously cute.
We found a second favorite Griffin.
Matt, or Mr. Ben, I think that is a very controversial opinion to hold. You're definitely in the minority in saying that.
What, that she tastes like Scootaloo, or that she's ridiculously cute?
Both.
Oh, God.
Hey, it wouldn't be the same without me here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it probably would. But there you go. No, I absolutely adored this episode. I really, really did.
He gave it a big Gabby hug.
Yes, I would. I do love some of the art that has been floating around for this episode, especially the one where Gabby's basically out squeezing Bolt biceps with a hug. That one's particularly amusing. But yeah, no. It's interesting that I feel that this is the closest to like a Cindy Morrow episode we'll probably get this season, which is interesting considering I think Ed Valentine probably writes the feels probably better than anyone at the moment. But yeah, this is easily one of my favourite episodes of this season, and definitely a fitting follow-up to obviously the CMC getting their cutie marks. I mean, obviously we had the episode earlier
on
in
your
the
marks.
season with CMC on your marks, but I feel that this is like the true sort of follow-up to. I keep forgetting that's the name of the episode. It's from season 5 now.
The big episode, the very, very important episode.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
I'm just gonna wait till you remember the name.
Oh God. I've been at work all day. It's nearly 10:30. You expect me to function properly?
Hey, I have too. Well, almost probably as early as you. Oh.
Yeah, but you're a night owl. I'm not.
Yeah, but yeah.
I will remember. Trust me, I will
Okay.
remember. Yes.
Yeah, really, I really, yeah. No, Technotron, no. Yes,
I can't
Crusaders.
see the chat. I can't see the chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
I'm in
This
bed,
is
so
good.
you can expect me to probably be snoring halfway through the episode. You have to mute my mic.
Well, I'm not in a good position to do that, so we're just gonna be snoring the entire time.
Yeah.
I really love
Crusaders of the Lost Mark. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. It definitely just one of the best this season, and just Ed Valentine did a great job with it. Like Matt said, this is really kind of the true follow up to Crusaders of the Lost Mark. On Your Marks dealt with it a little bit, but that episode was more focused on the CMC's future, kind of what do we do now kind of thing, and focusing on, saying that, hey, we can maybe actually break them apart in the future and kind of focus on them individually again as well. So that episode kind of accomplished, was going for a lot of different things, but it wasn't really kind of 100% a true follow-up to Crusaders of the Lost Mark like this one was here. But just overall, this was just a great episode, great story and character episode.
It's a shame. I do love what you said to me in chat. Also a couple of days ago. It'd be like, no one's going to remember Princess Ember now, thanks to Gabby's immensely ridiculous cuteness.
Princess who?
But see, I was mentioning this in the chat room, but I was looking up pictures and stuff off of Derpy Buru. The episode has about 9 pages of pictures. Of those 9, 6 of them are just related to Gabby alone.
Mm-hmm.
Only 6. Seriously, it's just so cute.
So, let's go ahead and move on to the story. This episode, as we already mentioned, was written by Ed Valentine. This is his 4th episode that he's written. He previously wrote The Cart Before the Ponies, another CMC episode this season. He didn't write for season 5, but he started writing for the show in season 4, where in that season he did Three's a Crowd and Flight to the Finish, another CMC episode. So he's definitely shown his ability to write really well for the CMC themselves. In addition, both Josh Haber and Megan McCarthy actually got a story credit for this, for the original story and concept. For Haber, it doesn't really surprise me, since this is kind of one of the overarching plots that we kind of had the past couple of seasons. It is interesting to see Megan get a story credit with probably contributing some stuff to the initial story ideas for it. So it's nice to see her still being involved somewhat with the show, even while working on the movie.
She pointed to Josh Haber and went, "You write a CMC story now."
That is the extent of her credit. So another really quick thing that we should mention is this is the episode that was delayed. So if you've realized, all of the episode numbers this season have been off by 1 since episode 9. This is actually episode 9 in the production order, I believe, even though it's premiering as episode 19 in the aired order. Big Jim Miller on Twitter said after the episode premiered that the only reason they decided to delay it is to make sure we actually had more Cutie Mark Crusader episodes in the second half of the season, because we already had on Your Marks in the first half, and it was kind of followed up pretty quickly, episode 9. With this episode, so they felt like moving this CMC focused episode a little later in the season would be more beneficial, so it would kind of balance the season out.
We had The Cart Before the Ponies. That was a CMC episode as well.
It was, but it was a different
equally
focus.
As much, and the focus was not just on them. It was on Rarity, Applejack, and Rainbow Dash as well.
And really, those 3 were the ones that were kind of learning a lesson and getting most of the development in that episode. The CMC were just there as their sisters and kind of who they were overshadowing. So where this episode and On Your Marks were much more focused on the CMC themselves.
I'm going to have to say that the CMC are going to have to rename themselves to the Cutie Mark Consultants after like the opening part of the episode.
Keep in mind the episode. No, the episode wasn't leaked.
It was so, you know, a show's been on the air for a long time. When you see the opening to an episode, and you see like basically characters who were essentially just basically little kids when they first started, sitting around drinking tea like adult ponies. That was kind of weird for me.
But no, yeah, the episode wasn't leaked. The episode premiered in what was it? Portugal, I want to say. Poland, yeah. It was a pony. P as in pony.
It was shown in Poland. I believe it was also shown in Italy.
Yeah.
Don't
and
quote me on that one.
Yeah. It was the dubbed versions in those languages were legitimately shown on air in those things, which all comes down to those channels were showing. Most overseas they obviously show the seasons on a delay because they have to do the dubbing and stuff, so they don't start at the same time. So they're showing the season in production order, and it just so happened that they wound up showing it a few days earlier than the aired order that Discovery Family is showing it in, because since there's that delay and they're showing it in the original order. So yeah, I saw really no reason to watch it. I mean, one, you can't understand it. Two, it's only a couple days until the actual episode, and even with the fan translations for it, it's just you're not going to get the full experience of the episode. So
you're not going to get Erin Matthews being incredibly cute as Gabby. I think the interesting thing about how this about the way this episode was plotted and that it's interesting to see really, Rain? Really?
Continue.
It's interesting to note that we obviously saw them help I can't think of his name now from On Your Marks.
Tender Taps,
that's it. I was thinking of Fleetfoot, but it's not. I know it weren't Fleetfoot. It's a name
it would fit too. Yeah.
It would. There's already a Fleetfoot. But yeah, they obviously we see Tender Taps actually in the episode. But what's interesting is that they've already mentioned that they've already helped a good swathe of ponies throughout Ponyville, sort of off screen, and that's going to be something that we'll be talking about probably later on in the discussion. But it's interesting to note that basically they've already had to sort of up the challenge for the CMC, and it makes me wonder sort of where that will sort of lead in the future. But obviously, again, we'll talk about that later. But what I love is just the pacing of this episode. It's really it's a very snappy story. It doesn't drag in any way. It sort of it sets up the sort of where the CMC are now, and then obviously it sets up the big next major challenge. Obviously the fact that Gabby is a Griffin and she wants to earn her Cutie Mark, which, well, we know is kind of a physical impossibility thanks to Twilight telling us that. Although we can kind of guess that anyway. It's like Twilight was there as to be the brains of the operation, because you don't want Sweetie Belle leading an operation. We already know what kind of disasters that leads to. And then we obviously have the sort of the conflict of obviously Gabby not being able to find sort of Gabby's place in the world, and then obviously we have the sort of resolution in the final act. So yeah, I mean it's very snappily done, and that's that sounds like a very simple thing to say, but it when a story is kind of like this, the problem is you can either have the resolution drag on, or it can be too quick. I think here Ed Valentine got it just right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think the pacing was good. It's not even something I considered when watching it, so I mean, I guess that means it's good. So
yeah, the funny thing, it's like with background music.
Yeah,
a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, I didn't notice that," and you go, "Well, actually, if it's good background music, it's obviously fit the mood and it doesn't stick out, and that's the whole idea." Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he definitely paced the whole resolution well.
There's a problem.
It was great seeing seeing another Griffin in the as well, but also just nice to have another episode that was kind of focused on a character that wasn't a pony as well. I really like having episodes where not just in the background, but they're the focus.
There was already a focus that wasn't a pony. We had Scootaloo in the episode.
Oh, you shut up now. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, it is nice having episodes that are focusing on new characters or even just one-shot characters. Even though I hope we see Gabby again, that are not ponies, because I think it's something that's kind of great and builds the world a little bit better. It's also nice seeing. I think one of the coolest things about this episode was the continuity all throughout. There's a lot of continuity that's used really well that both Ed Valentine and I'm sure Haber had a lot to do with. Starting with just seeing the CMC helping all these ponies. So again, continuation from last season's episode, and seeing that they have actually gone and they've helped a lot of these other ponies off screen. So this isn't just like their first one. They've shown that, hey, we've been helping a lot of ponies, and I like how this episode on multiple occasions through it was actually calling back to previous ponies that they've helped. So we see bulk biceps and tender taps as well in this episode as ponies they've helped in the past. Of course, that they helped in On Your Marks earlier this season. So that was a nice little bit of season continuity as well with who they've helped so far. I think my favorite thing of continuity was definitely the flashback that kind of Gabby does when she's telling her sort of origin story and how she came, just because it gives the episode's premise and kind of the whole plot of the episode purpose within the continuity of the show. This isn't just some random Griffin showing up to try and get Cutie Mark help from the CMC. They show that she was in this in the Griffin Kingdom. She kind of stood out and was one of the nicer Griffins there and had some problems. But then when Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie came, again flashing back to last season's Lost Treasure of Griffinstone, she saw them and kind of the kindness that they showed towards Gilda and the friendship they showed towards her, and then used that as a catalyst for her coming to Ponyville and eventually finding the CMC. I just really liked how this wasn't just an episode where it's just, hey, here's a Griffin, she wants to get a Cutie Mark and she can't, and she just appears out of nowhere. No, they actually build this whole episode's premise within the continuity, and this episode wouldn't have happened without what happened in the Lost Treasure of Griffinstone. And I really like episodes that kind of use continuity or use past events to build a new story.
I think there's one other sort of detail, because I think we've more or less covered all of the story so far. But I think the most interesting thing, you talking about callbacks, it's very interesting to see the sort of development of Scootaloo in this episode. In all seriousness, that ha 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 chicken joke insert here. But obviously with like episodes like Flight to the Finish, where we've had the sort of semi-taboo subject of her sort of inability to fly. It is sort of being sort of semi-indirectly. Well, obviously it was more directly focused on in Flight to the Finish. but here it's also sort of fallen back on as something that it's like she can relate to an unreachable goal, or a goal that is very close to unreachable. In the regards of, in the similar way that Gabby obviously wants a cutie mark, which obviously, she's not ever going to get, because, well, as far as we're aware in Equestria, only ponies get cutie marks because pony is master race.
Yeah, that kind of throws out the idea of Zecora having a cutie mark, even though she's clearly equine, and even though she's a zebra and not like an actual pony. I mean, she's still technically,
well,
at least some sort of.
To be fair, they only said griffins can't get them. They never said anything about any other animals in the episode, so it could still be some kind of mark that she has, maybe, possibly.
Maybe it could also be a mark that's also, whatchamacallit.
Exclusive to zebras?
Yeah. Not specifically like an actual cutie mark, but still something that's
tribal, maybe.
Maybe. Then again, since we haven't seen any other, zebras in the whatchamacallit in the series, I mean,
get on that, writers.
Episode also had a nice callback to Call of the Cutie with Apple Bloom, or I think it was Apple. It was one of the CMC kind of suggested to Twilight that, can you just use magic to get her a cutie mark, and Twilight said, we haven't had such great experiences with that before, kind of a nod to Call of the Cutie, or not Call of the Cutie, Cutie Pox episode where Apple Bloom tried to use one of Zecora's things.
That's one of the most forgettable episodes, but it actually had a really good purpose for this episode.
Yeah. So
it sort of actually it's made that episode actually have a reason to exist.
Yeah.
That's how good this episode was. It made episodes that were kind of forgettable, but actually, have more relevance in the canon.
Yeah, it's true. I forgot she used tried to use magic in Call of the Cutie as well. So I guess my flub was not a flub.
You knew totally all along.
It was my smart brain doing smart things. I really liked the ending of the episode as well. It's just the really sweet gesture from the CMC giving Gabby that kind of wooden cutie mark of their crest with her own design on it. It was just really a beautiful beautiful ending with that, and of course another callback with her getting a cute Siniera as well, which is of course another callback to Call of the Cutie.
The absolute worst thing that would have happened is her actually get an actual cutie mark. That would have been the absolute worst thing.
I'm so glad they didn't go that route. It makes the whole message of the episode so much more, so much better than if it's just, hey, you tried really hard and hey, you did the impossible and got a cutie mark. You tried really hard and you can't get a, you physically cannot get a cutie mark, but at the same time, you can still embody everything that getting a cutie mark can stand for.
I got a really good question for you. You give Pinkie Pie a bag of sugar, and you give Gabby a bag of sugar. Who's going to end up being the more Who's going to be the more hyperactive?
Matt, at the end of season 5 when Twilight teleports to that future that's just a desolate wasteland, that's what happens when you give both of them a bag of sugar.
You doomed us all.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea to do.
But who do you think's more hyperactive, Gabby or Pinkie Pie?
Yes.
Yes.
If you want a serious answer, Pinkie Pie. I'm sorry. She's close, but she's more like the Master's Apprentice.
Could you? I just want a Pinkie Pie and Gabby episode now. I just want to see how much the fourth wall can be flattened.
Damn it! Now I do too.
Although it seems to me that whilst Pinkie is aware of the fourth wall, Gabby seems to not have that awareness of her powers yet.
That's what I'm saying. She has to take an apprenticeship. Then she will learn the powers of the fourth wall.
You can imagine the cakes end up, retiring from the bakery. Pinky takes on, and she has Gabby as her apprentice. Oh my god!
It'd be the most wacky spin-off ever.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
They're Pinky and the Gab. Pinky and the Gab. I'm sorry.
We also another piece of continuity I almost forgot. We saw the
One
the
is
CMC's.
insane, the other's insane.
We also saw the CMC's cutie mark chart again that they use when trying to find Gabby's cutie marks. So another kind of callback to Call of the Cutie there as well. Just a lot of nice uses of continuity in the episode.
Also, we got to see Sakura. Yay, Sakura! She got all of 5 seconds screen time.
Hey, she got a lot of screen time in the last season finale. So
Yeah, but that was all in stuff that didn't technically actually happen.
still counts.
It's like saying I saw a lot of Princess Elise in Sonic. Yeah, but she's not fucking canon. I don't care what Sonic Generations told me. That game's not canon, damn it. That's my head canon, and you ain't gonna take that away from me.
Okay, so what does everyone have to say about the characters and the characterization in this episode?
Trying to. There we go.
I died from Gabby.
There was no memorable characters in this episode at all.
Nope.
I don't remember
Nope.
a single one of them, except for that Griffin character.
There was a character that was like a bird.
Gemma, was it?
She was like a bird and like a octopus. I know it was like a combination of two animals.
I just noticed there was a bird character that acts very much like Pinkie Pie. Actually, no. To be fair, she's more. If anything, I think she's more enthusiastic than Pinkie Pie in some regards. She's certainly more. I don't know. It's weird. They're similar, but I think they're good.
Well, she wins on the obsessed with the CMC chart.
I love how incredibly excited she was when she might be able to get a cutie mark. She's just incredibly adorable. It's just, I think it's the exuberance of youth that benefits her so much, and it would have been very, very easy to write her as unlikable or way too overbearing. I think Ed Valentine got it absolutely spot on with her. I think she wasn't too overbearing, but she was also, incredibly sort of enthusiastic and bouncy, and she's just incredibly likable. I think that's the only real way you can really describe it. It just got that sort of. I can't explain why she works and say other characters that are sort of really over the top and exuberant don't, but it just seems to work here so well.
I guess it's probably because Gabby is also mentioned, or not really mentioned, but also suggested to be relatively young, at least around the same age group that the Cutie Mark Crusaders are.
I think she might actually be younger. I know that may sound an odd thing to say, but I actually think she might be younger than the CMC. Don't forget, the Griffins are a larger species than the ponies, as far as I can tell, because I think Gilda's actually quite a bit bigger than Rainbow Dash, for example.
Mm.
And that doesn't surprise me.
Although we do see Gilda as a young filly in a flashback, and she's much smaller in that than Gabby is in this episode.
But Gabby is like a complete. I mean, she's a very different coloration to Gilda, so she may well be like a different subspecies of Gift Griffin, maybe, possibly.
I mean, she's definitely smaller, but
know.
I think I don't think she's as young as the CMC, because we see Rainbow Dash when she's about the age of the CMC, and Gilda is really small at that age. But she's definitely
will
younger
say,
than
I
Gilda.
think Gabby. The only character that fangirls better than Gabby is Rainbow Dash.
We should get them. You're talking about putting Pinky and Gilda. Let's put Rainbow Dash and Gilda together and have them fangirl over something.
Gabby, you mean?
Yeah, Gabby.
Gabby, you mean?
Sorry, they're all G's. It's confusing.
What is it with the Griffins always having like a G theme? I'm not complaining about everything, but I'm
Because the show likes alliteration.
I'm not complaining about it. I just can't help but notice that like every single Griffin character we've encountered had a G named to him.
Oh yeah, Gustav.
They're all real
Gustav,
G's.
Yeah, Gustav was also a was a Griffin as well, wasn't he? We need another chef Griffin called Gordon that swears a lot.
What the hey? Buy some
No,
apples.
we all know what swearing is now. Fluttershy showed us the light.
It was nice. It was nice seeing kind of the CMC kind of growing wise, I guess I could say, in the way of the Cutie Mark when we see them kind of explaining how everything works to Gabby. When a lot of this stuff is all stuff that they had been working the entire series pretty much to discover, and they're able to pretty much explain, like, well, it just kind of happens. You got to find your mark in a real mature way that they were once told by Twilight back in the first season of the show. So it was kind of a nice little bit of growth.
It's amazing to think after like episodes like Hearts and Hooves Days that we could ever put the words wise and Cutie Mark Crusaders in the same sentence.
Hey, even wise people ship.
Yeah, but most of them don't sing about.
Confucius was like shipped like Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie very hard.
So yeah, I think Gabby and Pinkie Pie are going to get a lot of shipping fix. I think.
I'm sure they've already overloaded the fanfics website. It was nice having another episode like this focused on the CMC, where the main six for the most part are out of the episode. We see Rainbow and Pinky obviously in the flashback, just for the context of the story. We see Rarity briefly in the song, and the montage song. And really, the only one of the main six we see more of is Twilight, which she fit really well into the role, because it's nice seeing the CMC go to her for kind of advice on Cutie Marks and Griffins, just because of their past collaboration together in Twilight Time in season 4. So it's nice to see them kind of learning from trying to learn from Twilight again and going to her for assistance. It gives me sense in the context of the episode, but it was nice not having shoehorning any of the other main six into it and just letting the CMC kind of, for the most part, stand out on their own in the episode. Just like On Your Marks earlier this season, where we didn't see the main six at all.
I'm just thinking, Emma Larson to come back in season 7, and at the end of the season, we end up with the CMC all sprouting wings and horns and becoming princesses of the Cutie Mark.
You just see Emma Larson drive by in a car, smoking a big cigarette. He just points at them.
No, not a cigarette, just a big bong.
No, not cigar. I meant to say cigar.
Yeah, there you go. Cigar
really fancy cigar. Yeah. Thanks, Emma Larson.
Thing is, though, he doesn't need to give wings to Gabby. She's already got them.
Double wings. Fly twice as hard.
Are you saying that Twilight should have had double horns then?
Oh my. One up here and one down. Oh, not going there.
Yeah. But it's interesting with sort of talking about the characters. We haven't really talked a great deal about the CMC themselves. I mean, obviously I've touched on Scootaloo. It's interesting to see that Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle sort of took a slight sort of back seat in this episode, which is a good thing, I think, because in a lot of CMC episodes, they've been a lot more of the focus than what Scootaloo has been, because Scootaloo's only really had the focus in,
in the previous Ed Valentine's
two
episode.
or three previous episodes to this one, basically. You know, I mean, obviously, Flight to the Finish was obviously a Scootaloo episode, and then we had the other one where they go camping. Can't think what the name of it is right now. I'm terrible with names at the moment, but yeah, that one. But yeah, that's the sort of the real sort of summation of where Scootaloo's sort of been the main focus. But you know, for you know, the lack of though, you know, sort of where she's been the main focus, I think, you know, we've seen plenty of sort of growth from her and obviously the other members of the CMC, and I think it's cumulated very nicely with this episode, and it's it doesn't feel forced, it feels very natural. Even their cutie marks look like they really fit on them now. I couldn't see them with anything else on their flanks.
I think characterization-wise, my favorite thing of the episode was definitely Scootaloo and her characterization, and her pretty much kind of taking the lead on a lot of the stuff that happened in the episode. Especially when she's the one that kind of pushes them right before the song to at least give Gabby's, like, crusading for Gabby's mark a try when they're just about to say, no, we can't do that. It's just a nice use of character continuity by having her mention her inability to fly when she says, I know what it's like to want something that's out of your reach. And it's a nice callback to Ed Valentine's first episode, Flight Before the Finish. And just her whole inability to fly as well. And I guess really love her optimism in the episode as well, after all she's been through in the series in relation to that.
I think we're forgetting the pony that could possibly out-nerd Twilight. The pony at the beginning of the episode, the young pony that they find is an archaeologist. She seemed quite nerdy when she was saying what also dinosaurs are canon and piracy is canon in this universe. we found as well.
Yeah, I was I just like the implication at the beginning of the episode that her hidden talent is just going to be a serial killer. Like, you got bones, and the parents are just so concerned. Like, don't you find her cutie mark a little concerning?
Which does make you wonder what other cutie marks.
I guess we can also talk about Gabby, and I definitely like kind of the problem that they presented Gabby with in this episode. She's really good at helping with almost anything, as we see in the song montage, which kind of leads her to not know exactly what she wants to do. So she kind of has that whole sort of like jack of all trades, master of none aspect. So she doesn't really not really the master of anything.
She seems to be master of everything, to be honest.
No,
if it wasn't for the fact that I think it's a case of she will always try her best to help, and that she has got a relatively high natural ability.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm leading to. She's not a master at anything, but she can help out with a lot. And learn really quickly from that. So she's kind of like jack of all trades. She's not really a master of one specific thing, you know. She doesn't have one kind of purpose, but she's able to help people out with a lot of stuff. And it's just something personally that I can really relate to, because I feel like I can do a lot of things and like have a lot of talents like her with that, but I'm not really insanely good at most of them. You know, there's always a ton of people that are better than you of it. But it's just something that you still can try and can learn from stuff as you go, and learn from other people, and still be of help and kind of grow in each of those things. Even if you're not terribly good at it, you can still are competent enough to help when those kind of things.
What I think solidifies is the quality of Gabby's character is not necessarily because let's get this out of the way, because I know there's going to be this brought up about her, may not necessarily here, but in a lot of chat rooms and throughout the fandom. She is not a Mary Sue. No way is she a Mary Sue, because if she was a Mary Sue, she would have got a cutie mark on her flank at the end of the episode. That would have made things a lot worse. And there's other reasons I think that as well. And I think the primary one is yeah, she likes to help, but she gets the enjoyment out of helping. She doesn't get the enjoyment of being, relatively good at everything. The enjoyment she gets is the fact that other people have basically been brightened by basically her presence more than anything. That's, I think, one of the similarities to Pinkie Pie are quite strong, because Pinkie Pie just wants people to be happier in the world, and I think that's pretty much what Gabby's sort of, goal in life is, really.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's not even something I considered until you mentioned it in terms of being a Gab. I almost said Gabby Sue. There we go. Call it that from now on. But no, yeah, I mean, I definitely totally agree with that. Where she's just being helpful, and wanting to be helpful does not make a Mary Sue. That's her personality, and in the end, she's able to overcome her inability to get her cutie mark, which is all really she ever wanted in this episode, but still come out, still wanting to help others. Gabby faking her cutie mark at the end, really to cheer up the CMC, also really speaks well of her character as well. I like how they played that, where she wasn't in denial or anything, and she's just trying to paint her cutie mark because she's just in denial about it. She just didn't want them to feel bad after they tried so hard to help her. So I really like it. And of course she gets found by the CMC when they're looking for her because she stopped to help someone else, which I also found funny. But I just really like that part where in the end she wasn't doing that because she was in denial or anything. She did it just simply because she wanted to, just like her personality, she wanted to help the CMC not feel so bad after failing to help her get a cutie mark.
I still think it would have been hilarious if we had like a bit of a small little minor what if sort of spin off, and like right in I'm just thinking to myself here of more of a like one of those how it should have ended episodes on YouTube, where like Gabby comes asking for a cutie mark and like Scootaloo's like, hey, we can help you with that, and like we just get like a smash cut to them at the local tattoo parlor.
I sent Matt a drawing of, so someone did do a artwork of Scootaloo giving her a tattoo on her foot.
Yeah, we actually, I think who was it? One of our well, I saw the same picture as well not too long ago.
I think it was funny because one of the directors of the show, Denny Lou, retweeted that. That's how the episode really ended. The uncensored version.
Say, hang on, no, what was it?
How do you tattoo feathers?
Because I want
That's the real question here.
Yep, yeah, I was about to say, because I want to say Everlasting Joy showed it to me and Tim. I do have the link here as well. So.
I know how you tattoo Gabby. Magic.
I'll just toss it in the chat room here.
It's Starlight Glimmer's side job.
Or just shave her.
Sure. I'm sure that's the better option.
I'm guessing we're talking about the fan art that had of Scootaloo doing tats.
Fair enough. If her flank isn't feathers, the same goes for fur.
I saw that on Derpy Buru, so...
Well, that was the link that was sent to me, so that was the one I just went ahead and I threw it in the chat room. So...
Any other things for character discussion or story that we missed that anyone here or in the chat wants to make a point?
You missed it, Twilight's a nerd.
Yeah. that was a big thing of character development there.
Not really development, is it? Really, it's like pointing out the bleeding obvious.
That was the joke.
That's the joke.
It's a joke. No, I believe I sent that tweet out with that image that Mr. Ben just linked, but it's the CMC are reading their Flash X Twilight / fanfiction tour.
Oh God! Yes, I remember you doing that.
Yeah, it was definitely of the three. It was Scoots was definitely the one that really got to shine there with her optimism and really trying her best to help her out. Just seeing some of herself in that, and just with her quest to try and be able to fly. I really liked her optimism with that too. Just saying maybe one day I'll be able to. And stuff. So I like that she's still optimistic about that.
I don't know if anyone's seen the fan art for it, but there was one where Scoodler is hitching a ride on the back of Gabby to have obviously the sensation of flight, which I felt was really, really cute.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that here. Don't know if I will, but.
Definitely have a couple characters this season as well that are kind of
pledging
to go back to their respective kingdoms and spread the message of friendship as well.
Although how successful she'll be when we consider how other Griffins act in the flashback is very much up for debate.
But of course that it kind of depends on how it's progressed with Gilda as well because we kind of see that start to turn around at the end of that episode with the CMC kind of bringing that message of friendship to them. So, with her and Gilda there, it might actually make some sort of impact or start to make some sort of impact at least. Oh, yeah. I wish I could draw. That's such a great painting or drawing there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the voice acting. Anyone have anything for the voice acting wise that stood out for them that they want to mention?
Oh my God. Gabby is just so fucking adorable. Seriously, it's like the sort of when she's got that high-pitched squeals. It's similar to how Rainbow Dash used to be when she was really excited to see the Wonderbolts. That's very much what it reminded me of, especially when she first meets the CMC. Erin Matthews did a great job.
Hey everyone, if you were disappointed that Little Strongheart wasn't in last week's episode, you kind of got it here. So, there you go.
Honestly,
I was about to say, yeah.
I think Gabby's better than Little Strongheart, to be brutally honest.
I'm trying to look for the credits on.
There, Draconis Media just posted it there. Because we also got a couple of new voice actors for the show.
Through again.
Kelly Ogmundson, who played the mother pony and the foal at the beginning of the episode, and David Stewart, who played the father pony.
Related to Patrick Stewart?
We can only hope.
So apparently the young little kid's name is Petunia Paleo. or Paleo, however that's pronounced.
Get it?
Paleo?
Get it? It's a pun.
How punny. Still not as bad as Squid Girl's puns, I'll give it that.
So yeah, pretty much everyone was again really on point this episode. The CMC, Madeline, Peter, Michelle Kraber, Claire, Corlett was everyone. I always say this, but everyone pretty much just brings their A game to this. I mean, I don't think there's ever been an episode where we've actually seen an issue where anyone has not really done like their absolute best.
I think that's something that's I think the thing that's as consistent as the music in this show is the voice acting has always been absolutely top drawer. I don't think there's ever been an episode where you can say, "Oh, that person hasn't been on their A game."
Or that they phoned it in.
I mean, the animation.
Which is funny considering Tara
always
Strong
good.
does literally phone in from her studio, from her home for this show, but
Not anymore.
That's more a technical thing than anything, and obviously for personal reasons as well.
Yeah, I believe she stopped doing that one after season 3.
I think by phoning, but when people mean by phoning in, they mean like low effort, that one and done kind of thing.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly can't really say much of anything beyond what I've always said about the voice acting. So,
well, I don't know if you can blame that on the writers. There might be other reasons where they're not divulging their names or coming up with names. It doesn't necessarily mean Haber just couldn't come up with a name for them. I'm sure they could have.
It gives the fandom something to do.
You gotta have something for the fandom to do.
To be fair, this is why it's great to have fans of shows, though, because they can fill in the gaps that the shows either don't want to or don't bother to fill.
Yeah. Claire Collette was great as a Sweetie Belle, and that little kind of that one moment where she's like, "What? How? What?" When Gabby first comes in with a fake cutie mark,
quote unquote cutie mark. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's also sort of that will sort of move nicely onto animation eventually as well with that scene as well.
Hey, they should have taken her to Starlight. Maybe she could have given them Gabby an equal cutie mark.
No, she would have been ousted from the village because she has no cutie mark. Therefore she is not equal.
She is the opposite of equal.
Exactly.
Unequal.
She's evil.
So
Even though all she wants to do is fit in and to hug every pony.
Yeah, there's the derp face. I was waiting for someone to post the derp face. Sweetie Belle has stopped working. You have confused Sweetie Butt. So, with the humor in this episode, obviously this is not as much humor in this episode as some past few episodes. It's a lot more character and story, character building driven. But there's still a little bit in there, so what does everyone have to say about the humor in the episode?
Let's see. Well, we've got Petunia's parents relieving that being relieved that their daughter's cutie mark means that there's just going to be an archaeologist. I remember, Skulu was like, well, sarcastically asking, well, did you think that she's going to become a pirate? And Barrett's just tossed away this tiny little pirate costume, just while unconvincingly saying that, no, we've never considered that.
You have to look at their cutie marks too. Yeah.
One of the father has a dirt face there as well, if you notice.
Yeah, he has but I didn't listen. The CMC told me that she wasn't going to be a pirate, but I didn't listen.
I still made her a pirate anyway.
If you look at their cutie marks, the father has a fencing cutie mark, and the mother has a pearl cutie mark. So, kind of again tying into that pirate theme.
And then they've got again the visual gag of Petunia just slowly lifting the dinosaur skull out of the hole as their parents just laugh nervously.
Hey, she's still looking for treasure like a pirate, just not,
Their daughter wants that
swashbuckling
sweet
and
booty.
Well, they need to pop over to Fluttershy's cottage then.
I hear she's good at taking care of foals. She has that that booty stare.
Let's see,
Hypnotized Big Mac that one episode.
The running gag of Gabby just putting the Cutie Mark Crusaders, even bulk biceps at one point in crushing bear hugs.
I really like, and this kind of goes to the voice acting too, because I think Tara did a really good job at this part. Because just when she's having that full-on nerdgasm when the CMC just casually state that Gabby got a Cutie Mark, and she's just running around for quills, and eventually just kind of runs out of the room. Spike, guess what just happened?
And Spike and Twilight Sparkle spent all evening on a wild goose chase.
And just Twilight reacting exactly as you would expect, proposing a full-scale research project, yeah? And Twilight was, Tim here in chat mentioning that, Gabby's just ridiculously helpful talent range, just, again, jack of all trades going on there. As we mentioned before, Gabby, Sweetie Belle's blue screen of death face when, Gabby shows up with the fake Cutie Mark. And basically the entire episode being the Cutie Mark Crusader getting a taste of their own medicine with Gabby constantly checking for her Cutie Mark and pestering them about how to do that, kind of making them think back to how much they acted when they didn't have their Cutie Marks and were constantly searching for it.
I love it when she sort of hears that they're going to try it and get her Cutie Mark, and obviously she doesn't hear the rest of it, and she's like running around excited, and you've got Sweet Belle going, how much energy do Griffins have anyway?
Just the fact
Unlimited.
that Shirley also teaches pre-fucking calculus as well is just ridiculous.
Hey, it wasn't Shirley teaching it. Remember, it was Gabby. It was Gabby teaching it. A little overzealous there.
What's more amazing is if even Snips and Snarls was able to understand it.
What's even funnier is that the equation that Gabby wrote on Shirley's chalkboard for the sine function is actually technically correct, if but a simplified derivative.
I will say that someone did point out that the graph that she drew is incorrect for that equation, though.
Yeah.
So Gabby isn't perfect. She's not a Mary Sue. She drew the graph incorrectly.
Either that or the animation artists got it wrong.
No, there's no such thing.
This is why they need more Futurama stuff on tap. They'd get things like that right.
Maybe they did it wrong on purpose.
Well, yeah, true. It'd be funny if they did say it was. Well, no. The thing is, though, how are we gonna know? We could say, "Well, did you do it on purpose?" And they'll go, "Yeah, sure we did."
I believe in Emma Larson. Oh wait.
Emma Larson's,
Wait a second.
Emma Larson's currently living under a rock because they were told he couldn't give any more wings to characters.
We
He
already
was very upset.
we all know that Josh Haber is secretly just a pseudonym for Emma Larson.
Well, like
Which is also a pseudonym for
about
Mitch Larson.
15 other writers' names.
I like how in each one of these hug pictures that you're posting, Draconicus, Apple Bloom's face gets more and more like it's going to burst.
It's gonna burst like an apple. Apple.bloom has stopped working.
Something that's actually rather hilarious in hindsight is the fact that a pony getting a Cutie Mark representing an inappropriate or socially unacceptable talent being subverted with Petunia. It was actually kind of brought up by the fandom far earlier in the Little Pony Commodore Supernatural episode, Call of the Creepy, where Apple Bloom got an obscene and censored Cutie Mark due to a night that she can't even remember and desperately wants to have it changed. And the idea was also even explored in official IDW comic Friends Forever number 28, I believe, where we are introduced to a filly named Thestra, who has a skull and bone cutie mark, which turns out to represent her unique magic to make skull and muscle temporarily disappear, and apparently has many rather useful abilities. I've never actually read that particular comic, but I have seen screenshots of that, so...
So I stopped reading the IDW comics quite a while ago. Just
Yeah.
partly out of money, partly out of just disinterest. But that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
I am no cutie mark will ever top Apple Bloom having a cutie mark of her winking face.
Or the
Best
fat
cutie mark.
pony, or the fat pony having being her face a cutie mark.
Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly. So how about the animation and in the visuals in the episode? I really personally like the animation. Go ahead.
Sweetie Belle, basically, with her reaction, that bit is just great. To obviously Gilda having her fake cutie mark, that was great.
I really liked all the animation, like the whole song sequence was really well put out. I really liked the end. There's a lot of the camera work, like at the very end of the song, where she's on the ship and it's panning out, and then we kind of cut to her flying through the town with the camera following it. The shots were really well timed with the music, and it just was really, really enjoyable to watch.
Gabby must have been an absolute bitch to animate for, because she's constantly on the move, constantly flying here, constantly flying there, constantly, a lot of squash and stretch.
Yeah, and it's a non-standard. It's a non-standard, model type. It's not like she's a pony and they've animated and done all this work with ponies for 6 years now. It's a griffin who we've had very limited episodes with them in it. So it definitely was that. And her design, I really liked Gabby's design as well. With the little hair tie, feather hair tie in the back of her head, and her color scheme was really nice. Is that an animation error? It just looks like someone with really pink wavy hair.
I think it's more the fact that her head's just sort of snapping off to one side instantaneously without really being...
It actually looks like she's nibbling on Scootaloo's hair. Chicken. Tastes like chicken. I also liked at the very beginning of the song. It was kind of a weird, elongated single shot as the song's beginning out, first with just the instrumental part of it with the drums, and then the CMC starts singing. But just the whole thing of Gabby just slowly starting to march along with the CMC was just incredibly cute. First she's just kind of standing there, and then she starts kind of bobbing, and then eventually she starts like lifting her claws up there and marching along with them. It was just a really nice visual progression and really insanely cute to watch. Yeah, of course, epic sax pony.
You see, Eurovision was good for one thing and one thing only.
Now we need to get a loop of that sax pony playing with music in the background.
Oh god, well, it looks like I know what I'm going to be doing sometime. But look out for that to being our offline image at some point.
Coming soon. Look forward to that. See. Well, anything else for the animation, visuals, or humor?
There's I suppose I'm should be dipping into Belisario's maxim here, but there was that shot of Gabby playing the clarinet, I think it was, and the fact that she's got an eagle's beak kind of should be making it to where she really can't even wrap her lips around that. But it's just a minor thing.
Around what again?
That scene where in that little montage of Gabby doing all those things, there's a shot where she's like playing a clarinet or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And just the fact that she's got like a beak, she shouldn't really be able to do that.
I mean, yeah, I guess how do ponies hold bows on the violin?
Yeah, exactly.
Or play a saxophone.
Well, even better, why do those cups that the CMC were holding at the beginning of the episode have handles when they've got hooves, so they wouldn't be able to put their hooves through the handles anyway?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just another one of those little minor details that I just it's really not that important, but you just can't help but notice and maybe even point out again. But that's pretty much all I've got to say.
Can I just say that one of the very first scenes where we first see Gabby, when obviously the CMC come back from Ponyville, talking, basically kind of bigging themselves up, which is an unusual thing to see them do. To be fair though, they've got reason to do so, and I've got no real issue with it. But it's just I think the very first time we see Gabby is when she's like scratching like her feathers like a dog.
Oh, yeah.
I just found that incredibly cute, and I think just seeing that immediately, I thought to myself, I'm probably going to like this character even before she'd even spoken.
Keep in mind, it's not like a dog; it's like a cat because she's part lion.
Ah, well, yeah, okay, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
So does that mean griffins can have fleas?
I'm sure that's actually a fairly large problem in Equestria.
Yeah, the real villain of the final episode of the entire show won't be changelings, won't be Sombra, won't be T-Rex. No, it'll be the fucking fleas.
You thought the Twitter mites were bad.
Oh God. The Tumblr fleerers.
Okay, so this episode had a song, and it surprisingly, not too long after the last couple episodes had a song. So we got another song already this season. What did everyone think of the song?
I honestly really can't think of much to say when it comes to music, to be perfectly honest.
I enjoyed it. It fit very well with the visuals and fit very well with with the story. The style was very traditional for the show. I'm guessing you could say.
Yeah. It's a very traditional song, both for the show and especially for the CMC.
It sounds like an atypical theme song, which, to be fair, considering it's a song that's introducing basically Gabby to the world of Pony, the world of, finding a cutie mark, it was very fitting. Yeah.
I mean, it has, in most of that kind of thing that gives it the friendship as magic feel and the CMC feel is in the instrumentation, where this one had the guitar backing and then had, of course, like the mandolin part in it as well, and mandolin is like the keystone of all pony song instrumentations, along with guitar. So it really did have that same feeling, and like Tim said, it's also in the verses of it. It was also a march, much like the Heart's Strongest Horses song in the previous Ed Valentine episode. Funny enough, Ed Valentine has written 4 episodes, and all 4 episodes have had a song in them. So Flight to the Finish had a song, Three's a Crowd had the Discord song, and Cart Before the Ponies this season also had a song. So he's 4 for 4 in terms of episodes with songs. So if you see his name again, chances are there might be a song in it.
Next time Rain sees an Ed Valentine episode, he'll grow and go, "Oh God, I'd have to rip out a blooming song."
I was hoping there wouldn't be one this week, but I guess I was thinking that there probably wouldn't be, because we've kind of had a couple songs recently in the Spike episode and the Cart Before the Ponies episode, So I was thinking it would be
This was episode 9. So
Yeah.
you've got to think of it in that regard, not necessarily in regard of where.
But then again, in
position
episode
in
9,
song.
we just had the big musical number as well.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting a song, but there was another one too. Let me get to the. Okay, so let me just get to this thing here so I can play it. Hopefully it doesn't crash again.
I'll hum it if you like.
So I'll go ahead and I'll play the instrumental for the song because it has some really good parts I really like, and it starts off with the march, so it has a verse, it has a chorus, and two bridges as well. So it starts out with the verse, which has the march backing to it, and then it will go into the choruses are the one where she's kind of sing talking, on the same note as she goes through all the different things she's helping. And then the bridge is like the very orchestral part of the song where it changes up the tempo. First the CMC sings through it, and then Gabby sings for the second bridge. The bridge is my favorite part. I really like the instrumentation. It switches up the drum beat to this really good sounding drum beat. It brings on all these strings with a nice counter melody and the violin. And especially mixed with the vocals in Gabby's song and the final bridge of the song. It's just really energizing, kind of epic feeling to it, especially when she's on the boat on that ship and that last part. So
Okay, I've now decided I'm going to have to do a second video where we have that scene and I play "I'm on a Boat" by
T-Pain.
for God's sake. Well, yeah.
I mean, excuse me. T-Pain was featured by Lonely Island. Yeah.
Lonely Island featuring T-Pain.
Featuring T-Pain. Okay. So here comes that mandolin here. Verse 2 now has that more guitar backing here. There's the mandolin again. And here's the first chorus. This song also has a lot of whip cracks in it, which is another similarity to Heart's Strongest Horses.
Hey, I didn't know this song was written by the people who did Johnny Test.
Here's the bridge. Now we have the verse with both the guitars and the mandolin. And here comes the final bridge. This is my favorite part here because the strings are really nice. Even has a kind of similar ending there to with that kind of 2-note hit at the end to Heart's Strongest Horses. So a lot of similarities to that episode song there. But I really, that song's been stuck in my head like ever since Saturday. I really, really like that song.
But that you probably had to listen to it like several times to get it just right.
Hey, that if I still like the song after that, that says something.
To be fair, I've seen the episode, not like I say, I've seen the episode 9 times, which is, I don't know if that's a record between me now and this sort of time.
I think...
Actually, no, I think Hurricane Fluttershy might have been my highest.
No surprise there.
I watched the episode a ridiculous amount of times.
It sounds like you really, really hated this week's episode, Matt. You hated it so much, you just had to beat it into the ground.
I had to watch it again just to make sure I really did hate it. I'm sorry, but I really dislike when people say, "Oh, I like watching reviews of terrible movies, but I'll watch them over and over again because I really hate that movie." It's like, really? Get over it.
I mean, if at least I will say, if you dislike something, I think it is important that you rewatch it 1 or 2 times to get a more informed.
That you do.
Or if you like it. I mean, either way, just to kind of, if you're really looking to critique something, either good or bad, give it at least 2 or 3 watch throughs, so you have enough information in your brain to really come to informed opinions about why you like or dislike something. So I think Matt can say for sure that he really likes this episode.
We know what you got to do is halfway through the episode, you got to say it sucks before it is even ended, and it's the first time you've watched it.
No, Matt. The true people actually say it sucks during the synopsis. That takes talent.
No. If you really want to go all out, if you want to be king of that, you don't even have the synopsis. You just have the episode title.
Man, I'm not even that. Just the episode number. Man, that episode 21. Man, that just. Oh, I hate 21. It's a horrible number. Fuck that episode.
13's an unlucky number, so therefore it must be a terrible episode.
It was so good it had to wait till after the hiatus. Okay, so let me load up and go to the score for the episode.
Score? What did you get? About 7 out of 10?
Oops, there we go. So this episode had a little bit more substantial score than last week's. It only had 1 more track, but I mean, it still had 10 tracks of score with the song, and they were a lot longer. Last week's was a little bit lighter on the score just by the nature of the episode. But this one had quite a bit in it, and some nice reuses of themes and some nice new score, new tracks as well. So let me see if I can load up the first one here, if it'll let me. Bring up these notes on it so I know what I'm talking about. Oh, this is not going to show me the description. Oh, piece of crap. There we go. So the stuff. First track we have is directly after the opening. The opening credits there. We start the episode right away there with the Cutie Mark Crusader fanfare, which made its first appearance back in season 3's One Bad Apple and continues to be used for them in a lot of their crusading episodes. So it's nice to hear that one brought back here again. That then kind of expands into another older CMC guitar motif, which was hilarious enough. I like a lot of things in this episode. Heard first and last in season 4's Flight to the Finish, so the Ed Valentine episode, and the track Are You In, directly after the schoolhouse scene in that episode. So we'll hear the fanfare and then go into that. So there's the fanfare. Here's that theme. So we hear that theme there. It has that a little bit of that saxophone, which isn't quite as loud as it is in the episode, because most of that is actually treated as a sound effect for the saxophone. So most of it's actually in the center channel with the dialogue. You can kind of hear it panning across in the surround channel, so you can hear it a little bit, but it's not quite as loud as in the actual episode, because it's more treated as a sound effect, since that pony is actually playing the saxophone there on screen. A little bit more jazz in the series, which we've heard a lot of the past couple of seasons, which is awesome. So hear a little bit of that. The next track is Gabby's track, Gabby the Griffin. So this track kind of, we hear our first cues from the Lost Treasure of Griffinstone, which the next track uses even more of. So when the CMC first encounter her, we get that very woodwind heavy score like we had in the Lost Treasure. But then as Gabby introduces herself, we get this little flourishing kind of woodwind motif that I really like. It's really short, but we hear it for her a couple times in the episode, so that's kind of her little leitmotif for her that you'll hear. I'll point it out when we get to it. That was Gabby's leitmotif there. She has this very frantic woodwind kind of music as well for the rest of her score. Okay. So that was Gabby's track. From there, we go into her story, so her backstory with her in Griffinstone. So for here, William Anderson actually uses one of the cues, one of the motifs from the Lost Treasure of Griffinstone, where Pinky and Rainbow Dash first reach the Griffin Kingdom there. So it's nice to hear that again for this story. We also hear Gabby's motif again, right before, I believe it's right before Pinky and Rainbow Dash are leaving in that scene, leaving Griffinstone. And as they're leaving and their cutie marks are flashing, just like they did in last season's episode to signify that their job there was done, we hear the job complete, mission complete, job complete theme that we have that we've heard in all of the map episodes from the previous season, again signifying that their job is complete. Here's her motif again. And there was that mission complete theme. see. From there, we kind of get into some of the more emotional tracks of the episode as the CMC kind of express doubt as to whether or not they'll actually be able to help Gabby. So this first one is when is right before the song where Scootaloo sort of steps in and says, okay, we're going to do everything we can to help you after they're very unsure of whether or not they can. So it's a very nice emotional woodwind score that comes in here. Nice little emotional piece here for Scootaloo's little speech to the other two CMC. So, directly after the song, then, we get to the part where the CMC have fully realized that they can't help her, and they're coming to terms with that here. So, some more emotional score at this part. There's some nice piano coming up in this part next. Or actually harp there. So now we reach the scene where Gabby's cutie mark is revealed to surprise be a fake. So she explains to the CMC why she did what she did. We got a nice little piano and guitar cue. This one was previously heard this season in Stranger Than Fanfiction near the end of that episode. And it was in the track A Couple of Year Lights. It was first heard in Season 5's Made in Manhattan for Coco Pamel's flashback scene. When she was kind of explaining the that event that they had going on, like the history of it in that episode. Yeah, I mute it, Matt, if you're wondering. Here's that cue from last season's Made in Manhattan. see what's in this next track here. In the next track I won't play. We hear Gabby's motif once again in the next track, which brings us to the final track, Gabby's Quinceañera from the very end of the episode. This score here is very similar to the ending score that we heard during the final race and the cart before the ponies, the last CMC episode. It uses the same exact guitar backing for it, but it has a different melody. The melody in Cart Before the Ponies was like a xylophone, or I believe, for that, and it was a different theme, a different melody for that one. Here they use the guitar, the same guitar track, so it feels the same, but they put a different melody on top of it here. Takes us to the big build-up to the end of the episode there. And so that's the episode score. So have a lot of nice little emotional piano and woodwind things in there. A few themes that we've heard in previous CMC episodes. Many of those we haven't heard since that episode, so it's nice to hear them again. They're not something that's been constantly reused, especially the one from Flight to the Finish. And in addition to that, we get a little bit of the Griffin music as well, with from from the Lost Treasure of Griffinstone episode from that. So it's nice to hear that again, make a comeback here for that flashback, and when they're showing the same scenes from that episode, giving us some of the same score. And in Gabby's motif, while it's really short, I really, really, really like her little pan flute motif that she has for there. It matches her kind of hyper nature very well, while also matching the instrumentation of the Griffinstone score that we hear. So, and that's all of the score. So, if I can find my mouse. So what does everyone think of the theme and the moral of this episode?
Let's see. Well, the theme is... What the hell did I do with the damn...
Can you guys still hear Matt snoring? I'm guessing this just mutes it on my side.
I can slightly.
Okay, it must just muted him because I can still hear it. I think I'm hearing it through JE's microphone, but yeah, I haven't muted on my end. I guess it just I wasn't sure if it muted it for the entire call or just for me.
Yeah, I had a mute Matt on my end as well, and I still hear Matt through JE's microphone.
Oh, I see.
Oops.
There's a mute and then there's a server mute.
Yeah, I don't think we really have the authority to do a server mute on someone.
Sure we do.
There we
server
go.
muted him.
Oh, okay. I just
have
assumed
the power.
I just assumed since it was highlighted red that we didn't have the authority to do that.
No, I think that just means big, important stuff.
Okay.
At least he made it through everything, pretty much. So anyway, yeah, the theme and the moral of the episode.
Theme is, and the moral is basically, your calling in life isn't what you're good at, but rather what makes you feel good when you do it.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were going to say something else or not.
What you mean? Like, don't be a dick!
No dick! Even though it doesn't really apply to this episode. But...
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she wasn't being a dick, so yeah, yeah, they're perfect. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess the moral is if you're really good at something or if you really like something, you don't need to get a tattoo for it. Perfect moral. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess with the same, I'm just responding to what Tim was saying there, but I personally wouldn't have liked that if they just didn't get a cutie mark. For them, it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like that would be mean. but for you know a griffin, where it's like we've already kind of seen in a universe that maybe like only ponies are able to get cutie marks. So we even see other varieties of ponies. Like the Saddle Arabians. I don't think they had cutie marks, did they? If I recall correctly, when they visited in
don't believe they
Magic
did.
Duel. Yeah, I don't recall them doing it. So I think it's specifically ponies that are able to get cutie marks. Ponies and like alicorns, I guess, but they're technically within the pony race.
No, they didn't. I'm looking at a screenshot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like what they did go with that moral, where in the end they didn't have her get her cutie mark, and you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it. It was really like she didn't get it in the end, but it in the end it didn't matter because she didn't need to have that. She didn't need to have that to show who she was or what she liked doing. Okay, yeah. So they're totally blank. So it's something. Yeah, it must be something that's it's just specifically to the pony race. Because I don't think like Little Strongheart didn't have one, like the Buffalo didn't have them. Yeah, I mean it can take a while. It can take a while to find what you like and more importantly what you like, what you're good at, and what you don't mind actually doing every day as like a job or anything like that. I like how they made her sort of like made her one of the CMC and gave her the same cutie mark, where when her talent is very similar to that as the CMCs, where the CMCs are specifically about helping people with their cutie marks. Gabby's a little more broad in terms of she just really is good at and enjoys just helping people with their issues overall. So, favorite parts? Any concerns for the episode?
Gabby. Just Gabby.
Favorite part or concern?
Again, just Gabby.
She's a health concern for me.
I really don't have any major concerns or really favorite parts on this.
I mean, I definitely think Gabby was great. The character was great. Her look, her design was great. And Anne Matthews did just a fantastic job as her voice. It was just really the perfect voice for her for that. So really enjoyed that. And I liked well, first off, seeing progression of the CMC and seeing an episode after last season that dealt more specifically with their special talent. But more specifically, I just really enjoyed seeing Scootley taking that kind of more front and center role and using her experiences and her optimism that she still has to really push to help Gabby out. And in the end, they were able to figure it out. And one more thing, I really liked how in the end Gabby did what she did in terms of faking a cutie mark, not because she was sad or she was depressed or anything like that, but because she wanted to make the CMC feel better. Because she felt, really bad for them that they weren't able to help her. So, overall feelings and conclusions?
Well,
Definitely one of the better episodes.
yes, definitely. And hopefully we'll be seeing more of Gabby later on.
Yep. Yeah, but I definitely hope we see her sometime in the future, because definitely be fun. I mean, this was really one of the best episodes of the season. I mean, I really like this. I really like the Changeling episode. I like the opener. I mean, there's a lot of episodes I really like this season, but this one is definitely up there. Just, and especially of episodes that have character development and emotion to them. It was just a really well-paced episode, well-written. All the characters were characterized really well and grown really well, and it was a good topic to cover. And Gabby was, like, fucking adorable. Okay, see if anyone else has any final thoughts in the chat here before we conclude. Well, with that, thanks so much for joining us for today's Equine Episode Examination. As always, make sure if you missed any part of it or you want to rewatch it again, make sure to check out our archives, both on the site under the Shows tab, and then Equine Episode Examination, and then Archives, as well as YouTube. All our Equine Episode Examination episodes are saved onto YouTube there, so you can rewatch them there at your leisure. It should be up sometime, probably tomorrow, just because processing takes a little bit with the final edits for it. So look for that to probably be up sometime tomorrow if you want to rewatch it. As always, if you have any continuing discussion on this, you can either comment on the Discus comments in the episode archives, or head over to our Discus forum to discuss this episode, past episodes, and future episodes, including this week's episode. We will be going to Las Pegasus. Again, finally having an episode, looks like, that will fit with the Explore Equestria theme very well. So that will be this weekend's episode at 11:30 a.m. So make sure to stop by and join us to live chat during that episode, and we will be talking about that on next week's Equine Episode Examination for that. So make sure to bring your coins, bring your cards, bring your blackjack, bring your hookers. We're going to be we're going to Pony Vegas next week, so make sure to stop by. We'll be doing that next week on Equine Episode Examination here on CinemaQuestria, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time next Tuesday. So we will see you then.